Hello, this is Dr. Says, and welcome to my review of Mass Effect on Origin. Having not played a Mass Effect game before, does this one hold up, or has its age finally shown? When you start the Mass Effect game, you create your own character. The choices are a bit limited. I was able to make a character that looked like the Punisher from The Punisher, but what I couldn't do was I wasn't able to change his name, his first name. So instead of calling him the Punisher, I ended up calling him the Shepard, which actually sounds quite badass because you're not able to change Shepard's last name. But I was able to make him look a lot like the character. You also can't change the voice, but I think the gravelly low voice does suit the Punisher. Throughout the game, you get 3 choices of dialogue, basically good, neutral, or bad. So I chose bad each time, which is kind of like the Punisher because he's like a bad dude.
You change sides too often. I have no choice. You must die.
So be it. If this is the fate you feel I deserve, then I will not resist.
When you start the game, you will be in the main hub, which is pretty much the base for all extraterrestrial life, and I find it a bit boring, to be honest. I mean, it is interesting, you can run around. It does look quite futuristic, but it's just a bit dull. I mean, there's nothing to do there except talk to people, and I find that a bit boring, so it wasn't really for me. There is a few difficulty modes you can choose from, and the difficulty is you can change difficulty whenever you want. I kept it on hard mode the whole time because I'm hardcore, but I think at the start hard wasn't really that hard. As it got later in the game, it got a lot more challenging. A main criticism about this game is you're waiting on the elevator a lot. I know there's like a mod you can download which makes the elevator loading times go away. You can also download mods for different things like improve the graphics. I didn't download any mods for Mass Effect, mainly just because I forgot to do it, to be honest with you. So I just played the vanilla version of the game. Another big gripe about the game is the autosave is infrequent. You could be playing like a level for a few hours, and then if you die, you lose all those hours. It's like at certain points in the level that you go past, the autosave will activate, and they weren't frequent enough in my book. So pretty much every time you do something significant, say it's even like killing bad guys in an area, which is only like 10 minutes, just save it, because if you die, it's likely you're gonna have to do that again. Although that said, if there's any bad guys in your vicinity, you won't be able to save, so make sure you get to a safe spot. The game has another problem as well. You're not able to pause the game. You can press a button and it'll show you like a list of abilities that you have, or you can press a button that shows all your guns, but you have to hold that button in basically, so it's not really pausing the game. I don't know why they decided to do this. I hate it when games do that. There's also unskippable cutscenes as well. You can skip through them a little bit, but it doesn't skip through them completely, and sometimes when you're pressing it, it doesn't work. I think the biggest thing that really pissed me off about this game is the final boss. He acts like an enemy in the game, which is like a wee grasshopper where it jumps off the wall and off the floor a lot. And I looked it up how to defeat this boss, and apparently the only way to defeat this boss is if you have different abilities. The ability like control gravity or something like that. The problem is my character, I picked the soldier class because I wanted him to be like the Punisher, but the problem with that is your character doesn't have any special abilities. So when you're fighting the final boss, it is really hard. It took me ages. It literally took me hours to defeat the boss just because he was jumping about so much. His shield also recovers very fast. If you're fighting him for too long, his shield just regenerates itself. I actually did have to reduce the difficulty to easy because even normal was too much to fight that boss. So I recommend if you play the game, don't use the soldier class because it just is way too difficult at the very end. With the soldier class, I had 4 main weapons. I had the pistol, I had the auto rifle, the sniper, and the shotgun. Now they're all good weapons. You'll want to upgrade all of them. My favorite was the sniper. Usually if you're playing on hard mode, you can't rush, you can't run and gun anyway, so I like to, you know, like take a step back, snipe all the enemies, which is saying something for me because I'm usually pretty bad at using snipers. The shotgun was also very good for close range. Those are my 2 favorite weapons. The pistol and the machine gun could be useful. Like the pistol was good if you were a bit too close to the sniper but a bit too far away for the shotgun. I think the auto rifle was the weakest for me just because like it could be good, but really the pistol and the shotgun, you know, would cover you for that. So you could level up your abilities like your weapons and your health. I put all my abilities on my weapons and pretty much my attacking options. I'm not the type of person who grinds through a game. I just pretty much get through the game with the least amount of upgrades as possible. So my character was very frail, but he was as attacking as possible, and even being as strong as possible. It still took quite a while to take the enemies down, so I'm glad I put all my effort into the attacking options. Pretty much everywhere you go, you always have 2 buddies with you, and they are completely useless. I mean, you will see them shooting at people, but they don't actually do anything. Well, they may take 1 down before they end up dying, but it's pretty bad. Like, you can upgrade their weapons as well. I mean, it may make a slight difference, but really they're just there for cosmetic reasons. The story's very complex, as you would expect. Like, it's a space RPG. You can delve right into the different races, the subplots. There's loads and loads of different side quests, and there's like a lot of politics to it as well. It is quite interesting, all these different aspects of the game, but I think it's an example of the developers spreading themselves too thin. Maybe if they didn't have so many characters, like, they could make the characters a bit more interesting, but I understand what they're doing. Like, this was made in 2007, and like the game is absolutely massive. Like, there's so many different planets you could land on, there's so many different people you could talk to. I'm pretty sure I just scratched the surface, and like I didn't explore everything. I just got to the end of the game. And it was also interesting, I think a lot of planets you would click on it, you couldn't actually go on to the planets. The atmosphere wasn't safe to land on the planet, but it gave you a good description of the planet. Say if I just give a random example, like this planet is like a freezing temperature and it can't be used to get any materials, but this race is living there, and it goes into the lore of each planet, and it's actually very interesting. And I was even able to find our solar system, like planet Earth and everything. You can't actually land on planet Earth. I don't remember the reason why. The only planet you can land on is one that they've made up. The story is full of betrayal, sacrifice, revenge. Your actions decide how it plays out. I think no matter what you do, you will lose some teammates, though I probably lost a few more than what I could have done. There's another problem I have with the game is there was a mission where I had to find a character. Whenever you're in the main hub, which is called the Citadel, it doesn't tell you where to go. Well, they'll sometimes say if you look in this area you'll find so and so, but they didn't actually tell me where to find the person. They just told me, right, find this guy. So I went to his office, he wasn't there. I went to all the places I thought he would be, he wasn't there. So I literally spent at least an hour looking around the whole Citadel, and just when I was about to give up and look on YouTube, I found him. I randomly stumbled into him. I think it was like at some disco part of the Citadel, and it was just so random because I was messing about. I was just like walking through this sort of bar area, and he's just like sitting there, like there's no indication he's even the guy you're looking for. It's just like a random NPC. It was only when I walked right up to him I was like, oh, this is the guy. I thought that was a bit daft, like, but it's interesting. And at the end of the game, if you choose the bad side, the humans are like, we will start anew and the humans will rule everything, and that is the way it's going to be. Mass Effect, it's a game that had showed a lot of potential. There is a lot you can do in the game because it was so wide in scope. It did have a lot of bugs, but I'm sure they fixed those in the newer games, and I look forward to playing the Mass Effect 2 and 3. I'm a bit late to this one by about 12 years, but I didn't have a console or a PC to play this game on back in the day, so excuse my tardiness. What would I give the game? Well, my new grading system, I would give the game an A. It misses out on full marks just because of the bugs and glitches. There's things that just sort of drag in the game, but the fact the game is so ambitious, it deserves to be rewarded for that ambition, I believe. And the game was popular for a reason. I enjoyed it. I mean, I enjoyed it more than more modern games. Like, I was playing Destiny 2, and even though that game's very polished, it's the opposite example. It's not so much an ambitious game, but it's so polished. But the thing is, like, you've played that. If you've played Call of Duty, you've played it before, like, so I'd rather play a game that's more rough around the edges, but has a lot more potential. I certainly enjoyed my time with Mass Effect.
If we step forward now, nobody will be able to stop us. The others will follow us, Shepard. They know we're their only hope. We will have a human council with a human chairman.